I've asked Lee to give me just a brief synopsis of Ephesus, city, background, etc. Anything that he felt like was important to say in 2 or 3 minutes, right, Lee?
Sure.
All right. So we're going to start with Ephesus. Now, what I would encourage you to do is open your Bible to Revelation 2 and have your Bible laying open in Revelation 2, 1 through 5 or 1 through 7. And of course, those are the scriptures where the Lord is speaking to the church at Ephesus. Ephesus is one of those places that's well known back in that day. They tell me that it's a archaeological sites are some of the best in the world compared to the pyramids in Egypt. People just love to go and dig there in that area. I can understand why, because it has a rich, rich history. Okay, Lee.
Well, Ephesus itself, when you read Asia, anyone in the New Testament, it's actually referring to Asia Minor, which is basically modern day Turkey. Ephesus itself, you don't get the idea of just from reading in the Bible. Ephesus was huge. All right, 250,000 people probably, give or take. I mean, I don't think there's an actual active census that we could use, but it was. Isn't that what I said?
You'll get different numbers.
Anyway, so this was the biggest city in what we know as Asia Minor. Ephesus was not originally the capital, but it became the capital later on, basically. Ephesus had a huge seaport, which made it very wealthy. It was right on the ocean, but the city was removed up a little bit, especially after it was moved to higher ground to stop flooding on the 2 rivers. It lies between 2 rivers. You think of Pittsburgh, think of Cincinnati, places like that. Louisville, Kentucky, I think. You know, there's 2 rivers, 3 rivers. You know, places like that. So there was a lot of trade, a lot of transport. The city itself is old. I mean, like, earliest known probably habitation is 1000 BC. So you're not talking about some place that sprang up overnight. Around, I guess 560 BC, you begin to start seeing changes of rule. And it was under some of those that the city was moved up the hill. They had a great big temple. You've read about in Ephesus where they had a ride that started by the silversmith. That temple there was originally built to Artemis, but the Romans called her Diana. And this wonderful temple, I think in 356 BC, burned. Now, how marble and stone burn, I can't tell you how that happened. It has to burn. Anyway, the Roman Empire offered to help Ephesus rebuild this temple, and they very politely declined and rebuilt it themselves. The second temple was one of the 7 wonders of the world. All right, now it was not just a huge temple, but grandeur. Unfortunately, it too fell. But anyway, there were different people that would rule over Ephesus, from Roman generals to the king of Pergam, things like that. But Ephesus itself still flourished. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. However, now at the time that Paul went there, they were still flourishing. At the time that the people who worked under him would have been there, they would still be a very wealthy city. However, that area is geologically unstable. You probably will see earthquakes in Turkey where most all the buildings just collapse, pancake we call it. Yeah, that's been going on for 3,000 years or better. I mean, it's not something new. Now, interesting side note of that's a Muslim country. Muslims do not believe in insurance. If something bad happens to you, well, it's Allah's will. And that's why Western industries don't like to go to Muslim countries, because they want insurance. So anyway, Ephesus itself was a grand city.
What city?
Huh?
What city?
Ephesus,
Was it what city?
grand.
Oh, okay.
A grand city. It was huge, but it was also, I don't want to say grandiose because that makes it sound tacky, and it wasn't. They had the temple of Artemis, the temple of Diana, but they had big gymnasiums that were open to the public. Now, they were also used to train their military and whatnot. They had, of course, public bathhouses, but this is not like the bathhouses down here at the park. These ones are nice. They had a huge auditorium, amphitheater, that would hold, I think, 25 or 30,000 people, and the orators could still be heard. It's something to do with the architecture and how it's built that makes the voices carry. They still try to do things that way today. They had a public library. That was something very, very rare in those days. But they had a public library, probably in part because Pergamum was known for papyrus, which is the forerunner of paper. We call it craft paper now, but I mean it was made from a papyrus plant. But anyway, about the only thing left of this great city today are a few ruins. And to me, you're talking about a city that started, in 12 or 1500 BC and was still alive in the time of Paul. And John, the apostle, according to everybody, died of old age there, extreme old age. But at some point, it was destroyed by an earthquake. They began to rebuild. A second earthquake destroyed the rest of it. There are a few ruins that are part of like tours of the Holy Land, but the city itself has never been rebuilt. There is a Turkish town or village called Seljuk, and that's probably the wrong way to say that, but I think it's right. And it basically rests on the site of Ephesus. I mean, not to cover the entire place because it's just a small.
What happened to the seaport?
Well, the silt from the two rivers filled it in eventually, and that's a shame because it was very well done. In fact, a lot of that was done by hand. They had expanded and broadened it because they weren't exactly on the sea, and they wanted to be. So, shovel and plow and I don't know, elephants, I guess, or donkeys, something like that.
How far from Patmos was it?
About,
You'll get different numbers.
yeah, about 40 miles, I think.
Some say 60, some say 80, some 40, some 30.
Yeah.
It just depends where they're looking at the Isle of Patmos being exact.
Well, yeah.
Well,
a city that big-
There's a lot of islands out there.
Yeah, and a city that big would stretch a long way.
Yes.
Wait, did you say Patmos?